With COVID cases once again on the rise, especially in places where vaccination rates have lagged, the GOP and Fox News have been freaking out about President Biden's plan to conduct community outreach to raise awareness about the vaccines. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Yesterday was a big day at the White House. Pop star Olivia Rodrigo met with President Biden and Dr. Anthony Fauci to promote COVID vaccines among young people. And in addition to providing a much-needed boost to efforts to get more people vaccinated, it also gave us the gift of Fauci, one of our most beloved and celebrated scientists, explaining to the best of his ability who Rodrigo is.
You're going to meet with singer Olivia Rodrigo tomorrow at the White House. What do you think that she can do to try to persuade younger people to get vaccinated?
Well, I understand that she's a very popular figure among young individuals.
That sounds like one of those weird Next Generation episodes where Data is explaining to Riker who Elvis Presley was. He was an influential musician of the mid-20th century. Apparently, he died on a toilet. Of course, you can't blame Fauci for not always keeping up with the times. He's an 80-year-old immunologist. Fauci's idea of a pop star is probably Eddie Cantor. We need to reach out to young people. Any ideas, Dr. Fauci? What about Bobby Goldsboro? Mel Torme? Oh, can we get Perry Como? Fauci doesn't know anything about modern music, nor should he. He probably knows Leonard Bernstein, and that's it, which is fitting since when he goes back to his old neighborhood, he probably acts like a character from West Side Story. Hey, it's Tony the Fauci. Looking good, Fauci. Right back at you, Mickey. Tony, watch out. The Republicans are looking for you. Hey, don't worry, honey. The Fauci ain't no slouch. Fauci, Fauci, crazy Fauci. Anyway. This was a genuinely great and admirable thing that Rodrigo did. We desperately need as many trusted sources across a wide swath of society to raise awareness about the vaccines and push back against all the toxic misinformation pushed by the right. And if you watched her comments yesterday, I think you'd agree that Rodrigo is very effective at getting the message out.
I am beyond honored and humbled to be here today to help spread the message about the importance of youth vaccination. I'm in awe of the work President Biden and Dr. Fauci have done and was happy to help lend my support to this important initiative. It's important to have conversations with friends and family members, encouraging all communities to get vaccinated and actually get to a vaccination site, which you can do more easily than ever before, given how many sites we have and how easy it is to find them at vaccines.gov.
Side note here, it's nice to see a real celebrity at the White House after the last 4 years when the previous president could only manage to dig up the likes of Ted Nugent or Scott Baio. Biden's got huge celebrities helping him out with an unprecedented nationwide campaign to get Americans vaccinated against a deadly disease, and all Trump could muster was 18 holes with Kid Rock in his flag pants, which looks like something you'd buy for $6 at a truck stop because you tore the ass out of your good pants rock climbing on peyote. Then you might be asking yourself, they sell pants at truck stops? Yeah. You think truckers go cross-country wearing one pair of pants the whole time? Get real. That is, unless they buy my new product, PermaPants. And if you're wondering how I'm going to sell them, I'm going to grow a mustache and start talking like this. The best thing about PermaPants is you can go on the go, and you don't have to pull over and pee in the woods and risk getting eaten by the bears. I made so much money from PermaPants, I was able to buy a diamond ring from the bears. I also bought some earrings for my wife, Deborah, and then the salesman asked what they were for, and I said, Deb's ears. You see, what happened here is Shoemaker texted us last night and said, FYI, plenty of time for tomorrow's closer look. And we said, challenge accepted. I mean, Shoemaker, why would you do that? That's like texting a recovering alcoholic, no line at the bar. The whole reason I went to impression camp was so I could stop doing impressions. Then you come along like a drug dealer saying, psst, hey, kid, want to do a Lindell? How about a Tony the Fauci? By the way, Shoemaker also went to Tangent Camp. And if you want to know how to get there, you take a hard left, and then you just keep going. Now, part of the reason the appearance from Rodrigo was necessary and valuable was that it will hopefully help push back against vaccine misinformation being pushed by the GOP and right-wing media. For example, they've recently started claiming that Joe Biden's plan to conduct targeted community outreach and go door-to-door to raise awareness about vaccines is actually a sinister government effort to take your guns and your Bibles and force you to take whatever medication the government wants you to take.
And now they're starting to talk about going door to door to be able to take vaccines to the people. Think about the mechanisms they would have to build to be able to actually execute that massive of a thing. And then think about what those mechanisms could be used for. They could then go door to door, take your guns. They again go door to door, take your Bibles.
Yeah.
Don't come knocking on my door with your Fauci outie. You leave us the hell alone.
Going door to door, this is creepy stuff. Someone comes up to your door outside wearing a mask, showing up at your house claiming to work for the government, asking you personal medical questions.
Can HHS force you to take antibiotics for your TB? How about Xanax for your anxiety, Thorazine for your mania? And while we're at it, why are we letting irresponsible, defective people reproduce? Vagrants, mental patients, even QAnon people, all are allowed to have children. Why is that? Why aren't we sterilizing them? Sound crazy?
What else can the government do? Can they force you to take aspirin when you have a headache? Can they strap you down and slather you in Bengay if your back hurts? Can they have mall security drag you out of Brookstone for spending too much time in the massage chair, even though you show them a doctor's note that says you have an enlarged tailbone and you have a constitutional right to sit in the electric massage chair for as long as you want? And then they say that's not a doctor's note, it's written on a Post-it, and everyone in the store laughs. And you say, oh, I'm sorry, I guess because my doctor works out of a Staples, I'm not an American citizen anymore. And while everyone's busy laughing, you try to fish some quarters out of the mall fountain. And they say, you can't do that. And you say, well, how else am I supposed to buy a box of garlic knots from Sbarro? And they say, there's no Sbarro at this mall. It was replaced by B. Dalton Booksellers. And you say, well, welcome to Joe Biden's America. And as you're saying it, you fall ass first into the fountain and nearly drown until the mall cop revives you by doing CPR without getting your permission first. Does that sound crazy to you? Also, can we go back to this?
Going door to door, this is creepy stuff. Someone comes up to your door outside wearing a mask, showing up at your house claiming to work for the government, asking you personal medical questions.
Well, you can make anything sound creepy when you say it like that. Someone comes up to your door wearing high socks, short shorts, and a bucket hat, opens your mailbox, takes all the outgoing mail, puts it in a van that looks suspiciously like an ice cream truck and drives it away. I know you're not the ice cream man. You're not fooling me, government. In reality, it is a volunteer effort, and all they're doing is trying to raise awareness about life-saving vaccines amid a deadly pandemic. And look, I get that if you still don't have the vaccine and you watch Fox News, you are not going to be convinced by someone knocking on your door. But it's still nice that they're trying. It's not like they're working on commission or trying to get you to upgrade to Pfizer's friends and family plan. Everyone just wants this pandemic to end. And the fastest way out is the vaccine. COVID cases in the U.S. have doubled in recent weeks, and CBS reported a few days ago that almost all of the new cases, 99.7%, are among people who have not been vaccinated. It's tragic, and it's unnecessary. We have an abundance of safe, effective, and free vaccines for anyone who wants one, and yet the right has even gone so far as to insist that Democrats or the media or anyone who wants to combat the spread of this deadly disease is somehow addicted to the pandemic.
They just can't let the pandemic go. At some point, they're going to have to break the addiction.
Well, and it's like, some of these people get put out there all the time when they've been dead wrong over the last year.
And when you say some of these people have been dead wrong, are you referring to the guy who said a deadly plant toxin could cure coronavirus, or the guy who said last year that COVID deaths are almost nothing, or the guy who said we could cure coronavirus by eating Tide-to-go sticks like French fries and complimented a doctor who believes in demon sperm? Remember that? I mean, how could you forget? Demon sperm sounds like the name of a monster truck or a knockoff energy drink you'd find at the counter in a bodega. Also, do you think we can't quit the pandemic? Are you insane? I'm so sick of this pandemic. When it's over, I'm going to celebrate by going to a giant indoor concert where we all burn our masks, drink ayahuasca out of a shared cup, and make out with each other. We all want this godforsaken nightmare to be over, which is why we're trying to convince people to get vaccinated. But maddeningly, we're dealing with a political movement that's made spreading lies about vaccines one of their central political projects. It's become a culture war issue for them. They're even selling merch now.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis introduced new coronavirus-themed campaign merchandise. These are some of the items being sold on the governor's official campaign website. There's a drink koozie with a quote from DeSantis asking, "How am I going to drink a beer with a mask on?" And a T-shirt that reads, "Don't Fauci my Florida."
Cool. So the Republican Party is basically just hot topic for boomers now. Florida's currently reporting daily cases close to 4 times the national average, with the second highest number in the country. And DeSantis is selling merch like he's at a folding table outside Warped Tour. Can't wait for DeSantis to show up to his next interview in a new T-shirt with a studded belt, a pierced nose, and jet black hair. And what does that even mean? Don't Fauci my Florida? Is that supposed to be a play on words? It sounds like a Mad Lib filled out in a concussion ward. Also, poor Fauci. He's an 80-year-old New York doctor. The natural next step for him was to move to Florida, and now he can't. Old New Yorkers move to Florida the way sea turtles migrate. It's just instinct. One day they're at the top of the subway stairs with a bag from Zabar's, and something in them goes, F it. Next thing they know, they're in Boca putting a basket of seashells on the back of a toilet. I'm home. Every sane person wants the pandemic to end as quickly as possible, and the best way to do that is to get as many people vaccinated as we can. We have an abundance of safe, effective, and free vaccines available for anyone who wants one. We just need to keep getting the word out. Instead, large parts of the right are spreading dangerous lies about the vaccines. A sane political movement in this situation would be doing the opposite. They'd be telling the government, please,
Come knocking on my door with your Fauci outie.
This has been A Closer Look. God's Love We Deliver cooks and brings over 2 million meals a year to men, women, and children living with HIV, AIDS, cancer, and other serious illnesses, and they need your help. Now more than ever, if you're watching this online, you can hit the donate button. Stay safe, get vaccinated. We love you.